Hello, 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 and welcome to episode number 101 of the Teen Talk Skating podcast. My name is Mango, and I hope you guys are all doing very, very well on the first episode of 2026. Um, I am very glad to be in 2026. Happy New Year to everybody. Of course, this year, like my resolution, at least for the podcast, is to, keep uploading consistently as I have every single Saturday, and hopefully grow the podcast more. I'm thinking of doing, different things like making a new intro and trying to get into more, not advertising, but like trying to figure out how to work with the algorithm and stuff more because I'm kind of interested in that stuff anyway. And so I feel like it's useful to know and stuff. I do want to address some issues with last episode, episode number 100. I literally joked in that episode that I needed to make a new intro, and right after that, I tried to edit the episode, and my usual files for the intro and the program of the week segments were not working, and they were not exporting correctly. And I just thought it was really funny. I have not made a new intro or not podcast, program of the week, theme song, intro, outro yet as of right now, but I'm planning on doing that sometime soon. I need to get out GarageBand and figure it out. I think it's like a sign from the universe that the other one was like corrupted. We'll see if it works this week for this episode, but heads up that this episode might also not have a theme song or program of the week intro outro. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing very, very well. I'm going back to school on Monday, which kind of sucks, but that's all you got to do, right? You just got to manage, you got to go through it and everything. But yeah, happy 2026 to everybody. Here's to another year of a lot of figure skating chaos and fun, and of course the Olympics, which are literally next month now, which is crazy to me. But let's head over to our program of the week. Okay, our program of the week this week is what I think is a really good example of what figure skating should be, and not in a sense like, oh, this is like the best kind of figure skating, but it's just it to me is very much stick to the classics, stick to the form, stick to the melody, things like that. Stick with the status quo in a very, very good way. And that is Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poge and their 2019 Canadian Nationals rhythm dance to Libertango by Astor Piazzolla. The rhythm dance in the 2018-2019 season was Tango Romantica themed. And these two just have in my opinion, the perfect tango, the perfect tango romantica, the perfect interpretation of what a tango should be. These two, Caitlin Weaver, Andrew Poge, they really put a dance in ice dance. To me, ice dance is dancing on ice, and this just feels like dancing on ice. Not the TV show, but just it does feel like a dance on the ice. Starting off with the tension, right? This program is just full of tension and chemistry and great acting because ice dance is very much to me the most components based discipline, and a good ice dancer is a good actor, actress. They know how to feel the emotion. They know how to convey emotion. They know how to change the emotion of their audience. And this just is that. This does just that. I cannot be talking. I cannot be talking. I can't talk right now. That's weird. But yeah, Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Boget, their expressions are so intense, so fierce. They're so calm and connected together. The program starts off with the Tango Romantica pattern, and I would say that this is a really good pattern. I'm not very nitpicky about ice dance in general, but to me, this pattern dance has very, very nice flow. They get all the good edges together. I don't know if they got all the requirements or not, but whatever. But they get all the nice edges together. They get all the nice flow from one thing to another. There's a few moments where she's in front, he's in front. There's a moment where, you know, he kind of like kicks her up, if that makes sense. The hand motions throughout the whole pattern dance are also really on point. There is nice hand movement from both of them, kind of hands separate, hands together. They have the very nice dance hold, classic dance hold, and typical tango or typical ballroom dance, but also the hands on the shoulders, the hands on the neck, the hands on the hips. It just adds that again, that very much tension, the romanticness of it. I really enjoy the straight line lift in this as well. The straight line lift is a very intricate lift in here. It goes from Caitlin Weaver standing on Andrew Poget's leg and really having this very dramatic pose, and then she quickly transitions to her basically laying down and him holding her up. She's basically as close to the ground as she could be in that position, and he's just flowing in that nice straight line, and it's a very, very beautiful position to watch. The twizzles as well are just on point. They're on the music. They go with the whirlingness of the music, the tango-iness of the music. Um, the very last set of twizzles, third set of twizzles, a nice hand motion going out, just calling the power. You can feel it almost yearning and that knowing that this dance is good. It's like they look so confident. They know their dance is good. The very end of the program is beautiful as well. There's this very quick feet movement from both of them. It's so impressive. It's so intricate. It's so quick. It goes by so fast. And Caitlin Weaver, is just able to use those blades to her advantage. Andrew Poche really holding her up and getting that very quick, very easy looking movement. And it's a beautiful program. And they just play up the emotions so well. It's a great program to watch. If you're into very much classic ice dance, in my opinion, I think they're very much purist in ice dance, in my opinion. But yeah, go check it out after this episode. Kaylin Weaver and Andrew Poge and their 2019 Canadian Nationals rhythm dance to Libertango by Astor Piazzolla. Now it's time for our main episode. Okay, so although I talked about Canadian team and Canadian skaters for the program of the week this week, we are not talking about Canada this week. We are actually talking about the US. And so for this episode of this week, why did I say that? This episode for this week is a preview of US Nationals, the 2026 US National Figure Skating Championships presented by Prevagen. I still believe it's Prevagen. It is being held in St. Louis. I always thought it was St. Louis, but I believe people in St. Louis call it St. Louis. I always thought, St. Louis because you know, St. Louis, you know what I mean? Because it's like Louisiana and so St. Louis, you know what I mean? But I guess it is St. Louis, and that's what people in St. Louis call it. The more you know, but all my life, I'm telling you, I've always been calling it St. Louis, but apparently it is St. Louis, Missouri. Figure skating coming to St. Louis, Missouri for the 2026 U.S. National Figure Skating Championships. Lots of good, cities, Midwest. Recently, we had Kansas last year, we had Columbus the year before, and then San Jose is in California. But it's very nice to see some skating coming to maybe a state that's not really known for figure skating or being a big figure skating hub. But yes, St. Louis, Missouri, and the Great Gateway Arch is welcoming in all the skiers from around the country. Anyway, this is the only nationals that I do cover separately, like on its own for its own main episode. In contrast to like the last two episodes, no, last episode I discussed Japan, Italy, and what was the other one? France, all by like in one episode. But US Nationals is the only national competition that I cover as its own episode separately. I do a preview and an overview, like a review of it, because I do live in the US and I'm able to watch all of it very conveniently from my own living room, and most of my viewers are from the US as well. So I'm sorry if I'm sorry that I can't cover your own nationals. But I guess I am kind of biased, and I'm gonna review and preview and review all of U.S. nationals. This competition is obviously super duper crucial for seeing who will be making the Olympic team and be able to go there. The US is a country that considers the results of the national championships in who is going to go on the Olympic team. That is not the only criteria for sure. They do take in other competitions across the whole season, but it is still a really big factor in who will make the Olympic team and who won't. And yeah, obviously the Olympics are coming up next week, or not next week, thank God, next month. And so it will be super duper crucial to see the result of this competition to determine who will go to the Olympics. I want to say that this is probably the strongest I feel like Team USA has been in a while. There's so many strong skaters from Team USA. And yeah, I also want to note lastly that judges will be judges. So take that as you will, because the judging at US Nationals is usually really crazy and it's usually really unrealistic. And sometimes some skaters place above others and you don't agree. But yeah, I'm going to provide a little preview of the men, the women, the pairs, and ice dance who I think will be placing here on the podium and who I think will be going on the Olympic team for Team USA. And so this is really big for talking about Olympic spots, like lives being changed here. Starting off with the men, we did have a withdrawal earlier this week from Camden Polkanen, which is important to know because Cameron Polkanen did kind of have, not have, what is it? He was kind of in the running definitely for an Olympic spot, for sure. Let me see. Yeah, he was definitely in the running for an Olympic spot. He hasn't competed all of this season, unfortunately, due to injury, and so he has withdrawn from U.S. Nationals due to injury, and so that is really unfortunate because he was third here at Nationals last year, and he did have, a few, solid results here and there. And yeah, unfortunate that he is unable to compete here in nationals, but hopefully we will see him in the future from Kenan Polkanen. So yeah, starting with 8th place all the way down to 1st place. In 8th place, I am predicting Mr. Liam Kapikas, who is a very, very strong skater. And in fact, I really do enjoy his skating. We saw him back at Ski America, and I really enjoyed his skates at Ski America. I, in fact, thought that they were kind of underscored. I thought his free skate should have scored a lot more for what it was. It wasn't perfect at all, but I thought it was a very charming skate. It was fun to watch. He's a good performer. He has like the good energy to put on the ice, and I really thought that it was a good program. I'm putting Liam Kubikas in 8th place for my predictions. His scores have not been, the most consistent so far this season. He has had a few good scores, a few not so good scores. He just isn't in that average range of what the majority of the US men are scoring, which is really in that 230, 240 range. His scores have been in, the 210s, the 220s so far this season. And I'm not saying it's impossible at all. I feel like if he had a good skate, such as like the one he had back at Ski America earlier this season, I do think he could make make a quite a mark on the men's field here. But just due to I cannot talk. Just due to some, some, and I mean some, inconsistency, some pop jumps here and there. We're gonna have to see where this one goes. But I do believe he's a really good skater. I really enjoyed his performance at Ski America, and he had a good performance too at Nebelhorn Trophy earlier this season. So I'm excited to see where he could place if two clean programs are what he gives us. So yeah, that is for Liam Kapikas of the US. I mean, all the men of the US. Yeah, in 8th place. In 7th place, I am predicting Jimmy Ma of the US because why do I keep on saying that? I'm predicting Jimmy Ma, who was 5th here last year, and then he went to Four Continents and he got 3rd at Four Continents, which was a huge result. And then I think a lot of us really, 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 really did think that this was going to be Jimmy Ma's season. He was going to take over and get that spot on the Olympic team. He is the veteran of the field. He is a really strong skater over so many years. Um, Again, I'm putting him a little bit on the lower side, unfortunately, because it's just a season trajectory. This season, his highest score has been a 218. And again, the majority of the US men in that 230, 240 range. Jimmy Ma has not been the most consistent on his quads this season, unfortunately. His quad toe I think he only does one quad toe in the beginning of his program, fallen on it, under rotations, etc. But I feel like if he has a really clean skate, and I feel like he has had really clean skates before, um, I think he'll be able to make, again, a big mark on the field. Just judging off of his season trajectory so far, I don't think it's gonna I just don't think that it's like the most likely result. And I don't know, the US men's field is so chaotic that it's just like what's most likely based on what I know right now, not what I believe is like right. And like if Jimmy Ma wins 3rd place, I would not be surprised because that's how chaotic the US men's field can be. If he puts up a performance like he did at Four Continents last season, where he got 245, and that was a huge score for him, that genuinely he could be making a really, really, really huge mark on the field if he's able to get that quad. Excuse me, viruses. No, I don't think so. Oh my gosh. What is going on? What is going on? No, I don't want that. Okay. I don't know what that is. I need to scan my computer. But anyway, I really do think that Jimmy Ma is a really great skater. Maybe the scores haven't been the highest this season, but we'll definitely have to see where it all goes for Jimmy Ma. Okay. In sixth place, I'm predicting Jacob Sanchez, who is the youngster in the field. I have been really, really impressed with Jacob Sanchez. This season, he did pretty good at his Seoul Grand Prix. The seventh place at Grand Prix China was a good result for him. He had a really good free skate there, fifth place free skate there. His scores have been higher compared to some of the other skates this season. This season, his highest being a 235. Usually in that 210, 220 range, but that 235 was a really great score. Again, another skater will have to see what happens. I think he tends to have better either program better than the other. One good short or one good free. If he's able to put one good short program together, his highest short this season is an 83. His highest free this season's of 148. Um if he's able to get good scores like that or even above that with even cleaner programs, which I'm sure he'll want, no pops, no issues like that, I think he can really make a mark on the field. I think a lot of people thought at the beginning season that Jacob Sanchez was kind of written out of it because he was kind of the youngster in the field. But I truly think that Jacob Sanchez could make that mark on the field, could make that big, big impression on the rest of the skaters, the rest of the field. No quads, but does have a solid triple axel, and when he lands it, it is pretty good when he doesn't pop it. His technical, score is pretty much maxed out in terms of the base value you could have without the quads, and so he could be going with more of that strategy with getting very, very clean triple jumps and getting very good jumps. And I think Jacob Sanchez might make a big mark in the field. I think a lot of people will be surprised. Okay. In fifth place, I am predicting Andrew Torgashev. Andrew Torgashev was second at U.S. Nationals last season with such an amazing skate that it truly was the highlight of the event in both the short and the free skate. Impressive skates. Then he went to Worlds. He placed 22nd at Worlds. It was quite the shock, quite the surprise for a lot of people, including myself. But you never know. Maybe U.S. Nationals is the place where Andrew Torgashev comes to play, and I would not be surprised if that was the case. This season, he has had a few okay scores. His best score being a 239 at Nebelhorn Trophy, which is a really good score, very much on the higher end of the U.S. men. He went to a 233 at Grand Prix France and a 212 at NHK Trophy. And so, maybe not the most consistent skater, not the most consistent scores just this season, just yet, but we'll definitely have to see where everything goes with Andrew Torgashev. The quads have not been the most consistent all of the time for him, but he does have two quad toes. If he's able to land both of those quad toes, which he did land back at nationals last season, I truly think he could make it on the Olympic team. Again, not the most consistent skater, but in this field, it's about skating the best. It's not necessarily about skating the best. Let me bring that back. It's not about skating the best necessarily. It's about skating the most clean. Does that make sense? The best does not mean the most clean sometimes. And so, if he's able to land his ticket onto the Olympic team, which I do think is very much probable and possible for Andrew Torgashev, it will definitely take a very clean program, especially with two clean quad toes, which he has, not been able to produce this season just yet, but we'll have to see where those quad toes really, really do go. Okay. In fourth place, I'm predicting Maxim Namov, who I really do think is another skater who is kind of similar to Andrew Torgashev in the sense that his scores are around the same range. His technical capabilities with the quads are around the same range. This season for Maxim Namov, he has been in the 220s, except for one score of 246, which is really good at the Ice Challenge in Austria. But we'll have to see. He does try to attempt two quads in his programs, these being two quad Salchows. His success rate with those this season, let me see, has not been the best. Sometimes he does pop them, sometimes he does, step out on them, fall on them, etc. The quads are volatile for a lot of men. Just in general, the quads are chaotic and wild. But what Maxim Namov has, in my opinion, is a little performance side to him, maybe that is just maybe more highly regarded in general by the US judges. I don't know what it is. I feel like the components in general are higher for Maxim Namov, and I do agree with that. There's something more. there with his programs. I don't know what it is, but a very, very talented skater, a very good skater. And again, like Andrew Torgashev, if he wants to steal his ticket on the Olympic team, he'll need a really good performance and hopefully both quads. If he's able to land both of those quads, this competition could become very, very competitive. But yeah, the scores he's been being in those 220s, really good scores, but wanting to get into those 230s, 240s, and we'll have to see at US Nationals what happens with Maxim Naumov as well. Okay. In third place, I think this is a bit of a surprise, maybe for a lot of people. In third place, I'm predicting Tomoki Hiwatashi, who last season was kind of just like not having as good a scores as this season. This season, he has turned things kind of around, it seems like, based on his last few competitions. He has turned things quite around. Last season, not the scores weren't the best. He was sixth at US Nationals. This season, he did start off with a 201, kind of rough, and then 236, 237, and then 245. And that was really impressive. That fourth place at Cup of China was a really, really impressive score. He did drop down to a 230 at Skate Canada, but it still wasn't like it was still really good in the short program at least. The free skate was, definitely not as good, but very interesting from Tomoki Iwatashi, kind of the turnaround that he's been having. I'm putting him in third place here because of the higher scores, because of this higher trajectory that he's been having throughout the season. And I truly do believe that he again can make it on the Olympic team if he's very clean. And he has been the most consistent of all the men this season with the quads at least. And so we'll have to see where everything goes. But I think he's most likely to be third. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, in second place, and I think second place and first place are really locked. I don't think there's like no predicting that those are gonna change really. In second place, I'm predicting my favorite, obviously, Jason Brown. Jason Brown's a really we all know Jason Brown, like we all love Jason Brown. Like it's just like I really do think he's gonna get second here. His scores have been, okay this season, honestly. Have they been the best? No. He has had like he's had historically not the best fall season and a way better spring season where the second half of the season is just like boss mode. The first half of the season is like working out the kinks and everything. This season his triple axles have not been really, really, really amazing and really, really there. Got in a couple quarter calls, got in a couple falls on the triple axle, little stuck here and there on the jumps, but not like terrible or anything. The performance is obviously so, so good. Probably, among the top performers in the world of figure skating, like ever. Jason Brown feels the music, he feels the emotions, and so he really does have second place locked. I don't see any like future where he doesn't really get second place unless the jumps really, really don't go like his way. But his jumps has been fine, not the best this season, not clean, clean, clean like he wants, but I still really do think he's a great skater. His components will carry him really, really far too. And I'm really happy that he's going to make his Olympic team again, his third Olympic team. And it's going to be amazing to see him at the Olympics. And I don't want to jinx anything. There's no way. There's no way he doesn't make it. I hope I didn't jinx him. Okay. In first place, I think this is a no-brainer. It's the quad god Ilia Malinin. There's just no what he is. No, no. Like if he does not win first place at this US Nationals, I will go do something crazy. I don't know. His scores have been 306, 321, 333, and 332 this season. And that is no other US man has scored 300. I even close to that. I think the other closest score is 257. And so literally like I truly don't see a world where Liam Malinin does not win unless he withdraws somehow, but I don't think he will. I believe he's going for 7 quads again at US Nationals, so I'm excited to see that and if that works out. But genuinely, he just came off breaking a world record. He broke one the competition before that. I truly do not see a reality, an alternate reality in which Ilya Malinin does not win. And so yeah, that's for the men. First place, okay, third I'm predicting Tomoki Hiwatashi, second Jason Brown, and first Ilia Malinin. And so I do think those three are gonna be the ones to go to the Olympics. Ilia Malinin, Jason Brown, and Tomoki Hiwatashi. That third spot for Tomoki Hiwatashi, it could be Max Naumov, it could be Andrew Torgashev, it could be Jacob Sanchez, it could be Jimmy Ma. I really don't know. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Okay. let's move on to the women's field where we did have another withdrawal, and this one made my heart kind of break. And that was Ava Marie Ziegler, who was kind of on her comeback journey off of injury last season, and she just had a surgery and she just recovered, and she withdrew from U.S. Nationals. I'm really sad. I don't think she was, based on the score trajectory this season, she probably wasn't gonna, make the Olympic team, because the jumps getting back from injury is really really difficult. I hope she didn't re-injure herself. Yeah, it was no, like I just feel really bad, and yeah, I really wanted to see her skate at nationals, but Ava Marie Ziegler withdrew, and I hope that she is recovering well. If she's injured, I don't know if she is. I don't know what happened, but I hope she's doing well. Okay, just like the men, I'm going from eighth place to first place. In eighth place, I'm going to predict Sherry Jang, who I don't have a lot to say about purely because she's a junior, and I don't talk about junior skaters that often. Really, ever. I don't really talk about juniors at all. This season, she's had, okay skates, it seems like. I'm really putting her here because she was fifth back at last year's nationals, and I feel like maybe the trajectory is going to carry her. This season, she's been in the 160s internationally. At nationals last season, she was 188, and so we'll have to see what competing on national soil does. I'm really putting her in eighth because I don't really know who else I would put in eighth. But she's a really talented skater. Really good to see the future of U.S. figure skating. I think she's coming back from injury, I believe, over the summer or something. I can't remember, but yeah, I hope that she does really good. She did really really good last year with her fifth place, and I loved her free skate to the Hunger Games. So I'm banking on the skating being good this year for Sherry Jang as well. In seventh place, I'm putting Alysa Gracie, who is, in the running for the Olympic team. Last season, we saw Alysa Gracie. We saw her have such an amazing Challenger Series. And then she went over to the Grand Prix, didn't do so well. Nationals wasn't the best. Then she got third at Junior Worlds, which was a really great result. I'm putting Alysa Gracie here because just in the scores this season, she's been on the lower end in terms of where all the other women are scoring in US at the other women who are competing here at US Nationals. She was a 154, then in the 170s range this season. And so they have been good, 170s are really good, solid area to be in. Just a couple of jumps popping under rotations. Issues like that have kind of hampered a little bit her scores, unfortunately. But I'm excited to see her skate as well. Again, another really young skater. She's only 18, and so I really do think she's going to make a big impact next quad. She already kind of made a big impact this quad and kind of put her name forward as one of the main stars, I feel like, for the US in the next quad. Her consistency hasn't built just yet, but just you wait, people. Just you wait because I do really enjoy her skating as well, and I'm excited to see where her trajectory carries her. And yeah, it will really depend on the rotations here, and hopefully no pops in the skates. So yeah, for Lisa and Gracie, I'm predicting seventh place. In sixth place, I'm predicting Star Andrews, and this is a really just kind of out there result because I am kind of basing this off of her performance at Ski America, which I thought was so good. Has she been the most consistent skater? Otherwise, maybe not. Internationally this season, she's been a 167, a 158, a 195 at Skate America, which is really good, and then a 178. And so, really, her, the biggest highlight was that big 195 at US Nationals with that pretty much clean free skate was so, so impressive to watch. Was a big shock even to her, and I think that was such a great result for her. Such a great result for a skier, who has really been a veteran of these U.S. Nationals, and I'm hoping that she'll have an even better result here this year. And yeah, if she's able to put down performances like she did at the America, I really do think the judges will really push her forward because I think she has really good performances this season. These programs are really good. The vampire theme free skate is a really cool idea. Not maybe competing with the highest technical base value, but still really good with the jumps. Competing with really solid jumping technique will really, 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 really save her. And I think she'll have a good U.S. Nationals, hopefully. Yeah, I'm hoping for a really good U.S. Nationals for Star Andrews. Her last one as a single skater before she transitions over to pairs, which is really interesting. And we'll have to see her in pairs next year as well. In fifth place, I'm predicting Brady Tennell. Brady Tennell is Again, another veteran in this field. She was an Olympian back in 2018. She won the national title back in 2018 and in 2022. It was no 2021. Um, and yeah, I'm putting her here in what is it in fifth place. Her scores this season internationally have been in the 190 range, really. And yeah, she's definitely capable of a very, very high score. We've seen her, I believe she's the highest score of any US woman ever internationally, I believe. I think someone quote me if I'm wrong. But last season she was fourth here at nationals, and she went to four continents and was second there. And then she was first at a small competition in Poland, the Maria Olszewska Memorial, which is really good. And so a lot of people thought, again, just gonna be like more and more and more, right? And yeah, this season has been really solid for Brady Tennell. Maybe not perfect skates. She was fourth at both of her Grand Prix at Skate Canada and in Finland. Her short program to Young and Beautiful is beautiful in the sense of it, and the free skate to the Mission I think is a pretty decent skate as well. The main issue for Brady Tennell has been under rotations. And I mean, usually quarter calls. I feel like she's had more quarter calls than anything this season in terms of, where they've been judging everything. Usually quarter calls, maybe unclear edge on her flip or usually her flip over her lutz. But she's had a really good season. She's had a really, really good season. Um, and I'm really putting her in fifth here. Honestly, I don't know, fourth or fifth. I'm predicting fifth right now. That's just what I wrote when I wrote it down, but we'll have to see where everything falls. A really solid skater from Brady Tennell. And yeah, just the scores haven't been as high as the rest of the field, and that's why I'm really putting her in fifth. But I think if there's any of these skaters who can make a breakthrough and really, really make their impact on the top women here, I think it is Brady Tennell, because the judges will reward some good clean skates and some good performances that Brady Tennell can definitely give, especially in that short program. I think the short program is enchanting. I think the short program is great to watch from Brady Tennell. And so we'll have to see where the chips fall, where the cards play out, but I'm predicting Brady Tennell here in the fifth place. In fourth place, I'm predicting Sarah Everhart. Sarah Everhart here, what is going on? Sarah Everhart was third at last U.S. National. She was third at Four Continents. And this season, unfortunately, the judges have been really strict on her calls recently. One of those skaters who has, kind of fallen to the, I don't know, the judging, fallen to the judges' eyes and being like, let's be a little more observant. This season, she's been in the 190, and then she was at 170, and then last two competitions were in the mid 180s here. Looking at her free skates, looking at the programs, again, just a couple under rotations that the judges have been, kind of quick to look at. Couple under rotations, not the cleanest programs, but I would say that Sarah Everhart usually doesn't pop, and I think that will be really key here if she's gonna move up in position. Is that she usually doesn't pop. I called her the American Queen of Consistency last season, and that was really to due to the fact that she just didn't seem to pop jumps. She just didn't seem to do very much wrong with her jumps, except the occasional quarter call. This season, they've been stricter internationally, at least with the calls, quarter calls, under rotations, edge calls. They will have to see what they think at U.S. Nationals here. Um, she has upped the ante and her technical score in the short, at least with the triple lutz, triple toe, and I think that will give her a really good advantage if she has a very clean short. And so we'll have to see what the score will be like with a good free skate, hopefully as well. I really do enjoy her free skate to Poor Things. It's a very intriguing one, and we'll have to see for Sarah Everhart, but a very good rising star from the U.S. as well. And we'll have to see even more next squad, I feel like. Okay, the top three women here, I truly believe that they could end up in any order. Third could be in first, second could be in third, first and second, first and third. I don't know. I think the order could really, really mix up here, and I don't really I can't tell you except what I think is the predictions here. In third place, I'm putting the kind of American Ice Princess, in my opinion, Isabeau Levito, who just is so strong so far this season. Yes, she again, Another skater who the judges have just been a little quick to call the under rotations, especially over the years. This is a general trend of that happening in her programs, where the under rotations have been called and they've been called and they've been called. Especially on her triple triple combinations, especially on some of the most valuable jumping passes, they are very quick to call under rotations for her. And so that will have to be, that is one of the main concerns, I guess, that might disadvantage her at this U.S. Nationals and is under rotations. But I feel like in general, the judges at U.S. Nationals are not super duper strict like that with rotations, unless it's like clearly obvious that somebody under rotated the jump like by a lot. And we'll have to see what Isabeau Levito where again the chips fall. She's had a really good program this season, maybe a couple understations like two or three in her free skate, maybe a quarter call even, maybe an unclear edge on the Lutz, but it's not like major downgrades or anything. Besides that, I think her performances are great. Her short program is fun. Her short program is classy. Her free skate is straight up beautiful. It's like a glass. It's like a piece of glass. So like I don't know. It's like a piece of glass just flying or something. I don't know. It's a beautiful program for Isabeau Levito. And so maybe again the technical score might be lower, but the components I truly do think that she has the components one, in my opinion. I think she'll win the components here. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like she has the components in the back, especially the presentation skills is just it's so good. It's so good. The composition, the presentation, it's so good. It's so good. This season, it's just these programs are so good from Isabeau Levito. It's just like peak Isabeau Levito to me is these two programs. I think that she has like some of the best program combinations. It's so good. In second place, I'm predicting Amber Glenn. Amber Glenn is the defending champion at US Nationals. She did win last season here. She won the season before as well. Will it be three in a row? I don't know. It definitely could be three in a row. I'm putting her in second here. Um, and I know this one could be close. So if she's first, like I wouldn't be surprised like at all for sure. I'm not saying like oh if she's second, I'm right. No, I think if she's first, she's first. She has been fairly good this season with her jumps. I don't think she's had two programs that were completely clean at any competition. She does have the occasional quarter call or the pop, for example. Last competition we saw her was Grand Prix final, and she did pop the triple axel in the short program, but then she came back with a pretty much clean free skate except an under rotated loop. And so it's really those small calls, but she has the advantage on the technical side for sure if she's able to get the triple axels in and everywhere else fairly clean jumps. She will, I feel like, win because of the triple axel. The base value for that, the Jewy that they're gonna give her for that is just super duper high. She has had really consistent score season being in the 214, 213, 211 this whole season, and so those early 210s. With two clean programs, she definitely could easily reach, in my opinion, at least a 220. And so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Emery Glenn where everything goes with that as well. Okay. And then in first place, I'm predicting Alysa Liu, who I'm putting her here because of consistency. She's been fairly consistent this whole season. She did start off with a 197, then a 212, then a 214, and then a 222 at the Grand Prix final. And it's really that kind of score that is, motivating me to put her in that kind of position. The 222 at Grand Prix final has been the highest score for any US woman this season. And so I really do think that she's going to win based on just the overall consistency. She's not really had a lot of pops this season. Maybe quarter calls on her triple lutz, triple loop in the short program, maybe in the free skate as well on her triple. But and otherwise, like it's been a really strong skate from Alysa Liu this whole season on. She has all this momentum being the world champion, the Grand Prix final champion. I think that's really going to carry her towards the first place here and maybe reclaim her national title. her first national title since her comeback. She was a very close second here last season. And I don't know. We'll have to see. Again, Levito, Glenn, Liu, I think those two are making the Olympic team for sure. I really do think those three are kind of set to be the Olympians. I don't know what order they'll be in here. It could be Isabeau Levito first. It could be Amber Glenn third. It could be Alysa Liu second. I don't know. It really could go any way. And I think that's going to be the big fun, not fun, kind of chaos here at the women's field. And so, yeah, I'm predicting Isabeau Levito third, Amber Glenn second, Alysa Liu first. Okay. In the pairs here, I'm really only going to talk about four pairs because honestly, I don't watch pairs enough to really talk about like the full glance, the full glint, the full you know the full palette of pairs that are in the US. And so I'm only going to talk about four pairs here in the US for this nationals, and those are kind of the top four that have been competing internationally right now. In fourth place, I'm predicting the team of Audrey Shin and Balaz Nagy, who are a new team, and they're a new team that have been doing fairly well this whole season. Not fair, like not like world champion score so far, but they have been a really good team for a team that has not been together very, very long. Um, Last season they were fifth here at US Nationals. I think they're gonna move up this season. I just think they have like I don't know. So far in the scores, they've been in the top. The highest one at in December last month was a 194, and that's their personal best across the board. The short, the free, the total score was a personal best. And so I don't want to base it off of just that one score, but otherwise they've been in the 170s. This season the 170s. They did get a 158 at the Olympic qualifier and then 165 at John Nicks, but that was earlier in the season, and so it seems to me that later in the season they've been doing better, and so I think their score is going to be really good here at US Nationals. If we look at what they got at Golden Spin in December, where they got that personal last, they had really, and I mean really solid scores. Aside from the side by side jumps, those are really going to be the key here for them. Um, I don't know. I think they just have the right trajectory going on for them. Yeah. In third place, I'm predicting the team of Emily Chan and Spencer Howe, who were really the top US pair to watch out for in like 2023, I feel like. And, a couple injuries, unfortunately, were really the main issue. And I just hate when that happens and trajectory just like falls off because injury happened and just like, ugh. But they are a really, really good team as well. This season, they've been in the 180s, except for a sole 193 at the Trialetti Trophy. But they were sixth at NHK Trophy. They were third at Skate America. I thought they were really solid at Skate America. It was a really good free skate, especially from them. Aside from the throw jumps, but the rest of it was pretty good. The lifts are pretty solid. They are a really solid team. We'll have to see where it goes with Emily Chen and Spencer Howe. I think they're going to be third here. They have qualified to the Grand Prix final before. They've medaled at Fort Collins. They are a really solid team, and I really do. I really, really, really um, I really hope that they'll, be able to put out the performances that they want here because that U.S. Nationals, not U.S. Nationals, that Skate America free skate, I feel like was a very promising one in a sense, and they did really good there, and I like their performance a lot. So yeah, can you tell I don't watch pairs a lot? I don't know. In second place, I'm predicting the team of Ellie Kim and Danny O'Shea, who were third here at US Nationals last year after kind of a shock. First place short program, fifth place free skate. That was quite a shock. This season, they were fifth at the Trio Trophy, and then they were third at both of the Grand Prix, which is a really great result for them, getting 199 at both of those Grand Prix. New personal best at Skate Canada in the free skate as well. Just looking at their scores here, their total personal best is a 201, so they weren't far off from that at all. They have had some pretty decent skates this season, just a couple, side by side jumps errors, as a lot of teams do, honestly, and that's totally okay. But they're a really solid team. If anyone, they are hungry for sure to get that U.S. national title. They got it back in 2024. Last season, they could not defend it, unfortunately, and so I'm sure they're very, very, and I mean very hungry to get it back, and they definitely want to see that happen, and we'll have to see if that does happen. um Yeah, it was a really strong result for them on the Grand Prix this season, so that's kind of what I'm basing it off on. If they're able to get that 199 into that 200 range, I think they are very, very competitive to get their US title back. But the team I am predicting in first place overall is Alysa Efimova and Misha Mitrofanov in first place here. I'm predicting that um they have, maybe had lower scores than uh Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea with 193s at three competitions this season, but they kind of popped out at Finlandia Trophy at the Grand Prix with a second place in Finland with a 205, and that 205 was above Cam and O'Shea at the same competition, and that 205 was a very, very strong skate from them. Um, it was a very strong skate for them. It earned them a new personal best overall. We've seen moments from them where they are able to put such good programs together, like at Worlds last season with that free skate was so, 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 so strong. And if they're able to repeat a score like that, that 205 at Finlandia Trophy being the highest score of any US pair this season, if they're able to repeat something like that, I do think they'll take the US national title like they did last year. And so we'll have to see where that all ends up. For the Olympics, I'm predicting Cam O'Shea and Shannon Howe. And Afimova Mitrofanov unfortunately do not have the citizenship requirements to make the Olympic team as of right now, but I believe that is kind of like locked that that's not really going to change, unfortunately. But they're a really promising team, and I'm sure they'll be competing into the next Olympic quad as well, and hopefully getting the citizenship requirements needed to compete at the Olympics. But I think the Olympic team is going to Cam O'Shea and Chan and Howe. But the pairs in the US, as I always said every single year, they are really, 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 really able to, what is it? Really able to have this renaissance in pair skating, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like they're in this renaissance of pair skating. And so we'll have to see. We will definitely have to see. And maybe the citizenship requirements will turn around, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's move on and talk very quickly about the last kind of behemoth, right, of the U.S. National Figure Skating Championships, and that is ice dance, which is so strong in the U.S. Ice dance is maybe the strong. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to debate on that. Ice dance is super strong in the U.S. Let's just admit that. And so I have eight teams here to talk about. In eighth place here, I'm predicting the team of Ava Pate and Logan By, who are married, I believe. Are they married? Or are they just dating? I kind of forgot. I believe they're married now. Are they married now? I believe they're married now. Yeah, they got married. Okay. They got married a long time ago. I did not know. Okay, this season, Peyton and Bai have been in the late 170s and then early 180s. They have been a really solid team over the years, seeing them kind of develop. They've had a good results on the Challenger Series. This season, they again have been in those 170s, 180s, and they are a really solid team. I'm just putting them here because again, the scoring hasn't been quite as high as some of the other teams in the US so far this season, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see where things end up around that. But they are kind of part of that big, and I mean really, really big mid pack of US teams. So I could see them placing in eighth. I could see them placing in fifth as well, maybe even fourth if the skates are just there, the emotions are just there. I remember they had a really good program a couple seasons ago. It was the Pola something dances, and I thought it was a really good program. They were fifth back in 2024, and I feel like they could reach that level here again in 2026. In seventh place, I'm predicting the team of Emily Brady and Ian Somerville. They were third here back 2 seasons ago at the 2024 Nationals, and then they went down to sixth at the last Nationals in 2025. This season they were eighth in France, ninth in Canada. They've had a couple, kind of a couple mistakes here and there in their dances. I believe just on the twizzles, there's just a few of the steps. So they've had a couple of mistakes here and there that have unfortunately kind of limited their scores here and there. But if they're able to put down two clean skates, they have been third on this podium after all. A couple of seasons ago, they've been on, they've been really good, solid skaters year and year and year again, and they are very young, they are very talented. We will have to see again where it ends up with Reading Somerville. I feel like I might be lowballing them a little bit. They might do better. Their scoring again just hasn't been as high as some of the other teams, but if they're able to get their steps together, their swizzles together, I think they'll be a really solid pick for not I don't know. I don't know. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. I think they could definitely place higher than the seventh I have them in. In sixth place, I'm predicting the Ship Sieves, who have made their very interesting, very unexpected comeback this season from Maya and Alex Shibutani. Again, drama aside, because that drama was not okay at all. And yeah, that training video was not okay. Not okay on this podcast, not okay ever. They have had, solid scores this season in their comeback. Only their two Grand Prix is 180 and then they were at 185. So, really solid. And, I think the scores will be around that range as well here at Nationals, higher than the other two teams that I've discussed so far, but not as high as some of the very top teams in that 200 range. But we'll have to see where the Ships is placed. They are a veteran of these championships, and maybe they have improved their performance even more from the first two competitions of the season. We haven't seen a lot of them, and so that's why I'm kind of saying like it might be a little bit more. They did switch their rhythm dance, and so maybe that will bring them some higher scores. Maybe more training, more practice is really giving them higher scores. Like we saw that big 5 point jump between 2 weeks of the Grand Prix, and so I wonder what about a month and a half will bring them here at US Nationals. Yeah, in fifth place, I'm predicting the Brown siblings, Una Brown and Gage Brown, who are really strong skaters. I do think they're really strong. This season, maybe their scores haven't been like amazing, amazing high. They've been in the 180s, and then the 170s was a score with. They had a mistake, I believe. Did they have a mistake at? Yeah, they had a mistake on the Twizzles in Finland, but otherwise, the other scores have all been in the 180s or very, very close to the 180s. And so we'll have to see where again those scores fall. I do know, I do think that their performance at Ski America was probably like the closest, not closest, how do you say? Was a good representation of maybe where they'll fall here at US Nationals as well. Their performance to The Godfather, it was at Ski America, was very much epic for a lot of people. And I think that, that will kind of cause the audience support and maybe the score. I don't know. US National scoring is always super unpredictable. That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Um, and we'll have to see where they end up as well. But they've had a couple solid dances throughout the season. Maybe they got a little mark here or there, or maybe the Twizzles aren't super clean or anything. But we'll have to see where the Brown siblings end up. Yeah. In fourth place, this kind of breaks my heart, but I do think that this is probably the most likely thing that's going to happen. And I don't know. I'm predicting in fourth place Green and Parsons. Green and Parsons have had a season mostly in the 180s. They were 184. Then they withdrew because of injury at Cup of China from Michael Parsons. Then they were 187 at Japan, 189 at the Warsaw Cup. And, you know, other than that, not other than that, but they've had really, and I mean really solid scores before. Last season before this, they were kind of in that 190 range a little bit more, reaching that 190 range and more. This season they've been in the 180 range. Their scores haven't been as high this season, and yeah, I don't know. I think ice dance is so often a patriarch, not a patriarch, what is it, a hierarchy, and it's interesting where everything kind of goes with ice dance. Everything kind of goes with the trajectory with all the ice dancers, but just lower than some of the other teams, and so that's why I'm putting them in fourth. But I do enjoy watching Green and Parsons skate, so I'm kind of devastated by saying that. I have to say. In third place here is Carrera Ponomarenko that I'm predicting for them. I'm predicting third for Carrera and Ponomarenko. They have, again, not they've been in the 190s this season with a 192, then a 191, then in 186. I think there were a couple, thoughts that they would do even better this season. Last season they were fifth at Worlds, for example, and that was a huge result for them, but they haven't had as high scores as that 204 back at Worlds. And so we really have to see where that kind of ends up as well and how that will all play out. Um, yeah. But they have gone back to their old dance, their old famous free dance to Perfume. They had a free dance this season to Notre Dame de Paris. But they've gone back to a program that's been more iconic, and I think hopefully that will bring them the scores that they want. It was a really iconic program that won the Perfume, the Murderer one. It was a very interesting program. It really brought them a lot of fame, I feel like, and success and trajectory, which we're always talking about in Ice Dance. And we'll have to see where that goes. And I hope that was the right choice. I think it was the right choice for them. I think that dance was really, really iconic, and we'll have to see. In second place here, I'm predicting a team that has just made a huge move on the ice dance field, both domestically and internationally this season, and that is Zingis and Kolesnik. Amelia Zingis, Vadim Kolesnik they've had such a big jump on the rest of the field this season. They were a 193, then a 202 at Cup of China, which was with a really, really big score, a 196 in Finland, and a 193 at the Grand Prix final. But even qualifying to the Grand Prix final just brought them, I think, a lot of street cred. Brought them a lot of reputation. I think that will really carry them into the rest of this field. They were really strong at Cup of China, especially with that free dance. They're very interesting, dark almost. Romeo and Juliet free dance is gonna bring them really, really far. I think that they have just made a big impact on ice dance this season, and they are gonna carry a lot of success with that. And I think we'll be seeing them at second place on the US national podium here. That's my prediction. First place kind of feels like the men's event, where Ilia Malinin is really the no-brainer for first place. I think the first place here is going to be Chalk and Bates. They are what, like three-time world champions now. They've had the highest ice dance score this season. They've won every competition they entered. They've been a 208, a 212, a 220. Where yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. They are really gonna win, and I think this is like a record or something. They had one, two, three, four, five, six titles, and they'll be going for their seventh Olympic title. And I think they'll surely reach it. You know what I mean? They'll surely get that U.S. national title. And yeah, kind of a no-brainer. Very strong team. They are kind of the favorites for the Olympic gold, and we'll have to see. So yeah, I think the third here will be Kira Ponomarenko. The second, Zingas Kolesnik. The first, Chalk and Bates. For the Olympics, I'm predicting Chalk and Bates, Zingas Kolesnik, and Kira Ponomarenko. I really hope that Green and Parsons makes it too, not gonna lie. If there was a fourth spot for ice dance, I want Green and Parsons to go because they're a really good team as well. But yeah, that is all my predictions for this U.S. Nationals in St. Louis. Next week, I will be watching U.S. Nationals for sure, but I will also be previewing Europeans, which will be in Sheffield in the UK. So stay tuned for a preview of Europeans. And then the week after that will be when U.S. Nationals is over, and I will review U.S. Nationals and talk about what happened and talk about all the skaters and everything. So 2 weeks from now, if you want a follow up to this episode where I previewed U.S. Nationals, 2 weeks from now will be the review of U.S. Nationals. If that makes sense, okay, that did make sense, right? And so, yeah, that is all for this episode of a Teen Talk Singing Podcast. My name is Zango. I hope you really enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week where we talk about a preview of Europeans. Bye bye.